Poker's legendary champions, next generation stars, and tireless ambassadors of the game, sharing their wisdom and guiding your journey to high achievement on the green felt. This is Tactical Tuesday on Chasing Poker Greatness with your hosts, Brad Wilson and Jon Chai.
Welcome, my friend, to another episode of the Chasing Poker Greatness podcast. As always, this is your host, Coach Brad Wilson, the founder of ChasingPokerGreatness.com, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Jon Chai. Jon, how you doing, sir?
Doing way better than last week. Less COVID. Hopefully no COVID now in my body.
The COVID is slowly going away. I'm feeling way better myself. I haven't actually tested yet because I'm resolved to never leave my home again and go do anything. So
Came to Vegas, learned your lesson.
Yep. This is what happens when you go outside and are around other people. You get sick. So
just stay at home, grind on your office all day. Don't see anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Never see anybody. Just coach wolves, do private coaching sessions, and go to sleep. And do podcasts, I guess. That's another thing that I need to do.
Yeah.
But what's our theme for today's show?
Flop check raises.
Flop check raises.
First hand is going to be, again, similar to last week's episode. I think it's going to be like more just me kind of explaining my thought process in a hand that I think played out relatively standardly. And then the second hand, I actually have some personal questions about.
All right. Well, let's dive into these first couple of hands, or actually the first hand of a couple of hands.
So the first hand, set 1K and L, button opens to $25, small blind folds. I'm in the big blind with 6-3 of hearts. I call the 25. We're about 120 or 123, 124 big blinds effective. Flop is 9-7-4 rainbow with 1 heart. So I flop a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw. $55 in the middle. Gonna start with check. Oh, the leading is probably not the end of the world.
Yeah, so first thing is we're defending the Tray 6 suited these days to the 2.5x button, huh? This is...
The spot where you used to make fun of me was not opening the 6-4 suited on the button. I don't know if that's what...
they're related.
Oh,
they
related.
are.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of similar, right?
Well, you singing
are you opening the 6-4 suited on the button these days?
Yeah.
Oh, look at your database later and see.
No 6-4 suited on the button.
Yeah, filter for 6-4 suited.
I just don't get dealt that
hand. Villain bets a third. So to recap, by the way, you've got the 6 tray of hearts. You flop a gut shot with backdoor flush draw on 9-6-4 rainbow. Villain bets a third, and you check raise to Villain's third is 17, and you check raise to 82. So is that like 5x-ish?
Yep.
I don't know that there's a... I think that, you could go either way here, calling or check raising. Any reason specifically as to why you went for the check raise here?
I think this is like probably going to be close to the bottom of my check raise range. I think I would there's some slightly more obvious check raise candidates, I think, that are like actual open enders like 10-8, 8-6, 5-6. Did I have a reason for check raising here versus just calling and then either check raising turn or betting the river if the turn checks through? Not a great reason, I guess. I think I guess like in general, I think like check raise barrel is like a very, very effective bluff line. So in spots that are like someone close, I generally default to that.
Yeah, I think like it's probably a good idea to have some like smaller in of the straight draws to check with. So on like jacks and tens and eights, we have like natural barrel hands that aren't straights on the turn.
Yeah.
So like tray 5, tray 6 are really kind of the worst two gut shots that you have. And then on like an 8, you know, now you can bet and don't just always have a straight or two pair or a set when you bet. So, yeah, I think the hand is, you know, totally fine. And but as I said, you could call too, and like it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I agree.
And we do get one of those nice turn cards.
Yeah,
the 10 of hearts. So 10, 9, 7, 4 is now the board. We have the tray 6 of hearts. So we got a double gut shot there. Yeah, double gut shot now
with a flush draw.
With a flush draw. Yeah, the 8 gives us the dummy end. 5 gives us the dummy end. Both give us the dummy end, but you know, whatever. Definitely a card that you're going to barrel on, I assume.
Yeah, for sure. I think 6 is like a reasonable card to have. It, you know, makes it less likely that the button villain has 8-6. Not that, you know, I think he can still definitely have a hand like Jack 8. I think he could definitely have like sets and 2-pair hand himself. So still lots of good hands for him to have. But I really like the turn blocking 8-6.
Yeah. Yeah, so you actually bet like 70% here, and I would press as to why only like 70. I think like an overbet makes a lot of sense here too, right?
Yeah, because I'm only betting like 2-pair plus, and then my draw is like this.
Yeah, and the SPR is like 5 on the turn.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, when you start by overbetting, you know, we can just get stacks in on the river pretty effectively.
Yeah. Oh, nothing's stopping us from getting stacks in with this size.
That's true. I think a lot of your hands, though, a lot of your value hands probably do want to go bigger, though. 2-pair sets to set up like you know,
closer to
smallish
1-to-1 SPR on the river.
Closer to 1-to-1 SPR, yeah. I guess the downside with like overbetting is if they have a hand that they decide they just want to go with, like them ripping the turn is pretty devastating.
Yeah, that would hurt a lot.
Yeah. As it is, you know, when we bet like 142, I guess we can call a raise.
Yeah.
To like
depends on what size they raise to, I guess. But
yeah.
Even I mean, maybe that's a good point for overbetting. Like even if they do raise versus this size, it still sucks.
Yeah, maybe we have to fold, right?
And maybe they never raise versus overbet, which I think would be a reasonable way to play your hand. It's just flat everything that you're going to continue with.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter because we're going broke no matter what. Like
well,
if they don't raise, they don't know that. But once you overbet the turn, we are probably going broke on most rivers. And as a matter of fact, if you bet 70%, you're probably going broke on most rivers anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think like my preference would just be to overbet here. And
what size? How big of an overbet are you thinking?
Probably like 125 or 150.
Yeah, there's 219 in the pot right now, so something like $300.
Yeah, like if you bet 300 on the turn,
sets up 1-to-1.
Yeah, sets up about a 1-to-1 jam on the river. Slight overbet still, but seems better to me. But you bet 142 into 219, and the opponent calls, and we get the river card of our dreams, the 10 pairs, which now gives villain boats, gives us boats in our range as well. The final board being 10, 10, 9, 7, 4. No flush available. We have tray 6, so we have the 6 high still. And the board is paired. There's 505 in the pot. Villain has $1,014, which is coincidentally almost 2x on the river. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the money goes in.
Yeah. I feel like I say this a lot on Tactical Tuesday, and I usually get corrected. But this was a spot where I thought I should only have one size, and that size is jam. I thought my value here is going to be boats and straights, and my bluffs are going to be hands like this, or 5-6, 5-3, those types of hands. I don't know what I would do with a hand like 10-8 or 10-jack.
I don't think you would bet the turn with that.
Yeah, I might not bet the turn with those hands.
What would you do with 6-8? Because I don't think you would 2x rip the river with a straight.
Right. I wouldn't feel great about that.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
they do have hands like the button has a lot of 10x himself. I would assume like they probably have all the 10/8s, all the jack 10s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe even like a hand like queen 10 of diamonds or something like that.
Yeah. So you're just gonna rip the straight?
I guess.
I mean, I think it's probably better than like betting 70 or 90% and getting jammed on and being like,
Yeah.
great, I hate everything.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess like another avenue we can go down on this spot is like checking our value. Do they have enough bluffs to justify checking our value in the spot? I'm gonna say no when we check this bluff and barrel return. Like I don't know if they just stick it. I mean, that's not. They have 5-6 themselves. They have, you know, maybe like 7x of hearts, 9x of hearts themselves. So like I don't know if they ever turn. Probably not 9x into a bluff, but
yeah, I think like, yeah, I mean, what becomes like quite difficult here on the river is like us having a checking range.
Yeah,
like,
Like
it's really hard for us to like manage having like some kind of balanced checking range here.
Yeah.
That, yeah, I think you're probably just going to be betting for the most part.
Yeah.
Because if you start checking, then you're mostly just going to be check folding, I would imagine.
Right. So we would have kind of like split our sizes on the river, where like boats plus I just jam straights. Maybe I pick. Well,
I guess the question is like how many natural bluffs do they have really that can like exploit us by overfolding if we did check fold? Queen Jack of Hearts. Maybe.
yeah, we're kind of stretching. I mean, 5-6 is a really obvious one.
Yeah. I guess 5-6 makes sense, but 6-8's a straight. 8-10 is trips.
Yeah.
You need some sort of like overcards with backdoor flush draw.
8-5 with the backdoor flush draw.
8-5 of hearts. We got one combo we unearthed there.
Yeah.
Well, either way, we go for it on the river. And I think that like you probably do just have one size here. I don't think you should split and have multiple sizes, because if you are jamming like a straight, you don't want to be betting like 70%, letting their boats just rip,
Right.
and then letting their bluff catchers just kind of play perfectly.
Right,
so
right.
I think in this situation, you do only have like one size.
Yeah. Just target their 10x and maybe like over pairs or something like that when I do have the 8-6. And
Yeah, and we could also like make things much easier just going back to beating the dead horse of like over betting the turn.
Yeah.
Then
Makes it way
it's
easier
like
to have
very
one size on the river.
obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they do fold. Do we know what they have after they fold?
Yeah. I don't know if it's gonna show in the video.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
look
I
like
guess
it's
not.
gonna
Okay.
show.
So yeah, villain had queen 9 of hearts. So villain flop top pair, turned the same flush draw that I did. We actually got really lucky to dodge the heart on the river because we would have gotten stacked there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, actually villain, I remember this hand villain tank folding. And I remember villain going into the tank and me thinking like, wow, like what hands would they tank with? Maybe some like 10x, like 10-8 or jack 10, like those types of hands, or you know, not sure about calling. And then when I looked up the hand and saw that they had queen 9 of hearts, I was actually
Sad.
yeah, I was like, man, you tanked with that? Like I thought that would just be a snap fold on the river.
Yeah, people are non-believers, man.
Yeah.
People are non-believers. They want to find any rationale for
Yeah.
calling down. Although I think calling down with queen 9 here would be quite a mistake.
Yeah.
As we've said, you know, we're really struggling to find a ton of natural bluffs that you have on the 10 of hearts turn. So what's going to be hand number 2?
I flop a set.
Flop a set, and you need help.
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought we were further along in our progression.
No.
All right, let's
I'll
see.
get put into weird spots with 3 of a kind still.
Yeah, let's see how everything goes down right after the break. John's gonna flop a set, check raise, and it's not gonna go super well from what I'm understanding.
Are you a lone wolf searching for the ultimate pack? The CPG Wolf program is a close-knit brotherhood hell-bent on one thing only: chasing poker greatness. Powered by bleeding-edge wolf strats and led by Coach Brad and his lieutenants, CPG Wolves are systematically prepared for almost any spot they'll encounter on the green felt. If you want to plug into an elite team and have a step-by-step game plan to realize your full poker potential, you can apply at cpgwolves.com. Space is limited, and the pack is only as strong as its weakest member. So only the hungriest, grittiest, and most driven will be accepted into the program. Applications are open at cpgwolves.com.
Welcome back to today's episode of Tactical Tuesday, where John is doing some check raising. John, you want to start breaking down this hand numero dos?
Yep. I think this is a 500 zone hand. Starts with a open from the cutoff. I have pocket fives, red fives in the small blind. I call the 1250 or the 2.5 big blind open. Flop middle set on 10-5 deuce rainbow. I start out with a check. The cutoff goes ahead and starts with a half pot flop c bet, $13 into the 2750. I have a set, so I'm gonna try to put more money in.
Yeah, I think that's pretty decent playing here.
Yeah.
You flop middle set, so let's just start putting money into the pot. You have a decent amount of lower equity check raises, I guess, like ace tray, ace four.
I mean, we saw from the last
Plus
hand,
some
I'm not going to struggle to find like gut shots,
Yeah.
like open enders and stuff to check raise. So
back doors and
Right.
all the.
So
back doors
villain bets
maybe.
13. I check raise to
Mhm.
52,
Ooh.
and then something really unexpected happens. Villain bet 3 bets the flop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't encounter this very often. I honestly think it's a mistake from villain. I think like just managing your bet 3-bet range is going to be really, really hard. I'm curious as to if like villain is doing this as like some sort of exploit. Maybe people do like react to this in like some way that I'm not really aware of. But I was really, I was just really surprised to see the bet 3-bet on a really, really dry flop like 10-5 deuce rainbow.
That is pretty surprising. I would say it seems like it's just FOS to me. It feels so like some sort of like backdoor with blocker type of hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously polarized, right? Like they're repping just sets
Yeah.
and
6-7 of spades or something.
yeah, 6-7 of spades or 8-9 of diamonds,
Yeah.
something like that. So in that case, I think a set's just going to give you the money, or if they have a set of tens, then they get the money, and then like calling is like really the only available action that you have on the flop, right?
Right. I think that is what I was thinking. On top of that, I was also thinking like, if I were to raise again here, like what am I saying I have? Like, would I ever 4-bet 3-4 in this one?
Yeah. I wonder, like, if you 4-bet the flop, I mean, it seems absurd, but like, what is deuces thinking? Like, I would be like, oh my God, I'm just always going to lose here.
Yeah, like, do they ever do this with 10-5 suited? Like, does he even defend 10-5 suited? Like,
Yeah,
that's
like,
what I'm
what?
hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that I would fold, but like, I would feel really, 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 really sad about having
I think it'd be really
deuces.
tough to fold, especially if you assume that I'm 3-betting pocket tens from the big blind, which I definitely am. You're like, wow, I only lose to fives. How can I fold deuces?
Because you only have one hand.
Yeah.
Your 4-bet flop range, and that's pocket fives. Like
Yeah.
you have like one hand exactly that does this, and no more.
So for all those reasons, I decide to flat the 121.
Yeah.
So we go to a turn with $270 in the middle. Effective stack is 377. The cutoff, the turn is 4 of diamonds. So now the board is 10-5 deuce 4. I still have middle set. Probably going to check here and just hope to stack the pocket deuces or whatever weird bluff they were doing the bet 3-bet thing with on the flop.
Yeah.
I think checking is probably standard.
Makes sense. I mean,
Yeah. What about a small lead.
It's I don't understand it.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
like basically they polarize the flop, and so like
Yeah.
you just check to the polarized range and let them blast off if
Yeah.
they feel inclined to blast off. I think the 4 is like. It's interesting that they check behind, I guess, is like the first thing.
Yeah, so I checked the turn on the 4 of diamonds, and the cutoff checks behind, which again I was shocked by. I thought money was definitely going in on the turn.
Makes me feel like they maybe improved to backdoor diamonds or some kind of straight draw.
Yeah, or like ace 4 maybe, or like 4-6.
Yeah, something like that. But I'd definitely be checking the turn and then just checking the river too.
Ooh. Okay, so turn goes check. The river was where I had the real question. A lot of weird things happening post flop on this hand. The river's the 9 of spades, so the final board is 10-5 deuce 4-9, no flush or anything. I didn't know what to do here.
Well, villain polarized the flop, right? So the range is still constructed in the same way, even though the turn checked through.
Yeah, but like once the turn checks through, do they just have a lot of bluff catchers now?
What bluff catchers do they have that can actually catch a bluff?
Yeah,
like
that's true. Like
6-4. I mean, it's a 4 ace 4. Is it really going to call a jam?
Yeah.
What bluffs do we have with they have ace 4? Like, the problem is like once we call the bet 3-bet, like we're kind of struggling to find bluffs, especially on like a 4. We need to be turning like ace 4 into a bluff.
Yeah.
I think.
Or 3-4.
Yeah, tray 4. Yeah, I think that those are really our only available bluffs once we get here. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
So yeah, like I would just be pure checking river and like expecting them to jam at a decent frequency and expecting them to like not call my jam if I did jam.
Gotcha. I thought the river was like a little bit more indicative of, or sorry, the turn check was a little bit more indicative of like some sort of showdown or maybe like a bluff that's giving up. So on the river, I think I don't remember exactly what size I used, but I think I went small trying to induce.
Yeah.
From hopefully that like bluffing part of the range, or maybe just get bluff caught by a 4 or something like that. So I bet.
I mean, you bet ace 10 on the river?
No.
Yeah, and I think that's like kind of what you're
right. So if I don't bet ace 10 on the river, my like how much value can I have? Better start
everything
raising,
else.
Jam the 6-7 of whatevers or 8-9 of whatevers.
Yeah.
So anyways, I try my best to induce, and I bet 87 into 270 on the river, and
just fold,
unfortunately
right?
the cutoff folds.
Yeah.
Doing a poor job of remembering to show what the cutoff had in these hands, but he had queen 10 offsuit.
Nice. So betting targeting bluff catchers, not so great.
I mean, like what am I supposed to do? He's not going to bet the river with his bluff catchers.
You don't get to make any more money here
you
if
just have to let
they
his
have
bluffs
queen
bluff.
10. Yeah, you just have to let his bluffs. I mean, I would say like one sort of interesting takeaway is like they're bet 3-bet on the flop. Maybe they plan on bluff catching on like not a 4. I'm not sure. I don't know. I have no idea like what's happening there with their queen 10.
Yeah, neither do I. It's just not one of the hands. I mean, I don't think he should be bet 3-betting anything, so I don't know what I would have seen in his hand and been like, oh, that's normal. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, if they show like 7-8 of diamonds, then at least it's like understandable to where like you don't want to bet a third because you don't want to get check jammed on. Like your hand actually got like too good on the turn to bet.
oh, okay.
Or 6-7 of diamonds, maybe like those hands would make sense to me.
Yeah.
More than queen 10.
Yeah.
Queen 10 is just like very bizarre.
Yeah.
They like I said that it was polarized on the flop, but like it's that's like a linear. I don't even know what they're doing.
Can you go back to the flop? Just the bet 3-bet size one more time. Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to see if it could have been a misclick, but it doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like a misclick to me. It looks like 2.5x 3-bet.
Yeah.
Check raise at 52. They made it 121.
Okay. So the lesson in this hand is like, if this ridiculous spot somehow ever arises again, just check the river.
Yeah.
Because even a 10 is not calling 1/3 pot somehow on the river.
Well, basically, yeah, like the range they have on the flop when they go polarized, like that doesn't change at any juncture.
Yeah.
So on the river, they're still polarized. So like, yeah, they have a set of tens. They're going to jam. They have a set of deuces. They're going to jam facing check. Then like all the low end hands are incentivized to jam too. And we don't want to bet
Right.
to force those hands to fold.
Right. And only put money in the pot when they have sets.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I mean, the sets stack themselves or stack you, no matter what you do. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
I bet they hated things when you bet a third and they folded on the river though. Like, I don't know exactly.
I don't know who hated things more, them or me.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening? You check back the turn?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing in poker, right? Like you get in these obscure parts of the decision tree and it's hard to make good decisions when you got really, you're making up your plan on the fly
Right.
as it goes. But no, it's a good hand. I think like you did good in picking out the check raise spots for this episode of Tactical Tuesday. So
Oh,
COVID must be dissipating.
Yeah, COVID brain. Yeah, it's good.
I think that's all I got for today's show.
Cool.
Excited to be healthy and well and kind of going outside despite the heat wave that's trying to like fry me. I go to the pool and swim is my exercise because it's way too hot. All right, man. Have a good week.
Yeah, good episode. See you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening to Chasing Poker Greatness. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Go to chasingpokergreatness.com to get the newsletter. Join the Greatness Village community, book a coaching session, or dive into the latest data-driven poker courses. Follow the show on Twitter @CPG Podcast.